Sounds like someone breaking in!
Just a storm, Dick. Sit down.
Zombies have been around for a long time. I remember my first encounter with anything zombie related was watching my brothers play World at War Zombies when I was like 6 or 7, and then they left for a little bit and I tried to play solo on Noct and I literally passed out from fear, so not an amazing introduction. The zombie genre has been active for nearly 100 years.
Damn!
And we've gotten some pretty dope movies and TV and some generational games out of it. There's been dozens, if not hundreds of pieces of zombie media circulating for years. But today, I just want to talk about two. Probably the most well-known zombie show in history, and probably one of the most well-known zombie games in history based on that show. Today we're going to be talking about The Walking Dead first dropped in 2010 and was based on the comic of the same name, written by some guy who didn't do anything else of note.
Are you sure?
The show obviously took some artistic liberties, like the creation of new characters like Myrtle and Daryl, who didn't exist in the comics, but they added them into the show because it was the 2010s and the show just didn't have enough racism, I guess?
I'll tell you today, Mr. Yo.
Overall, The Walking Dead was a hit. I'm talking for like 3 years straight, there was only 2 shows on TV, Breaking Bad and The Walking Dead. There wasn't shit else. And naturally, when a show gets this big, there's really important questions that need to be asked. No, it's not how do we improve, it's how do we make more money. And in the early 2010s, that meant making a video game. Telltale's, why is that so hard to say? Why'd they make their company name a tongue twister? No wonder they went out of business. Anyway, The Walking Dead Season 1 drops, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I've ever seen a game just take off the way it did. I don't know if it was because of the prevalence of the Let's Play genre at the time, or just because the game was that good. I remember really soon after it dropped, my brother bought the whole first episode, and me and my siblings linked up like the Akatsuki, playing through the whole first episode, and then the second, and then the third, and so on. I know there were games prior to this one that gave your character the ability to make decisions, but it was the first time I ever experienced it in a way where the narrative itself changes. Let me give you an example. In episode 1 of the game, the pharmacy that your group is in gets overrun with walkers, and 2 of your friends are about to die, but you can only save 1. If you save Carly, Doug dies, but in return, she hangs out with you for most of the game, and and then if you save Doug, Carly dies, and then he's just kind of there. I do want to make it clear though, if you are my friend, in-game or otherwise, if the HUDs ask which one of us is stronger, I will be body slamming you and throwing you to the walkers. Interestingly enough though, no matter which person you save, they both end up getting clipped by Lily. So there is aspects of the game that no matter what you do is set in stone, which I'm okay with it, but sometimes it just feels like I have the illusion of choice. So instead of getting to save characters I like from dying, I just get to see Kenny get mad heated at me for no reason.
Don't even come over here.
The games were a really big layup for The Walking Dead as a franchise, because people who watched the show ended up liking the games, and people who didn't watch the show ended up finding out about it through the games. So what's really the problem here? Why did I make this video? Why do I think that The Walking Dead games are better than the show? Well, how much time you got? The Walking Dead has a lot of great moments. Any scene of the generational beef between Dale and Shane, anytime Shane says any variation of,
Let me ask you something. Let me tell you something, man.
this guy is so talkative and curious, it's hilarious. Honestly, in general, I just really liked the first 4 seasons of The Walking Dead. It felt so perfect in the moment. It had the perfect combination of suspense, horror, good acting, storytelling, all that. I think the show was absolutely at its strongest in these first 4 seasons from a quality perspective. But as the seasons continued, the problems piled on. Useless character deaths that don't help the show but actually negatively affect it, and most importantly, this shit is too long. There are 11 seasons of The Walking Dead and 500,000 procedurally generated spin-offs. Walking Dead The Last of Us, Walking Dead Takes Manhattan, Walking Dead Hey, Rick's in the Show, in case you forgot, and probably a couple others I can't even be bothered to remember. Oh my god, I'm out of breath. Why is every show trying to be One Piece? Be yourself. We don't need everything to be 10,000 episodes. I have class in the morning. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The length of The Walking Dead isn't the only issue. I mentioned earlier about useless character deaths, and nothing perfectly explains what I mean by this better than Carl's death. In the story, Carl had been surviving in the apocalypse since he was like 9. He learned everything about surviving directly from the source, and he carried those lessons with him as he grew up. So naturally you would think, okay, if he died, it would probably have to be some insane thing, like a horde, or he was ambushed by a full group of humans, or something of that nature. No, what happened is he got attacked by 2 walkers, and then he just forgot how to deal with them, as if he's never dealt with this kind of thing before. So that's what happened on screen. But what happened off screen that made this happen?
I had a meeting with Scott Gimple, the guy who was the showrunner at the time and is now the showrunner of like all the shows. That's when he told me that Carl wasn't going to be on the show anymore, and I was like, that's unfortunate, because I just bought a house.
There are a lot of circulating reasons as to why AMC killed off Carl, but based on the way it got laid out from the way he said, I believe AMC just didn't want to pay him the salary of an adult when he turned 18. Which, if you think about it, is actually some real mafia shit. Can you imagine Carl going up to the director and being like, hey, I'm 18 now, can you pay me like an adult?
My stepper gon' brush him if I press the button to droopy the scuff.
Regardless of the reasoning behind it, the main issue here is that AMC ruined the show by killing off characters for no reason. I don't want to follow Eugene around while he learns how to not be scared of talking to women. I want to see Glenn and Everybody Hates Chris go do cool shit. Not every character in The Walking Dead is good. Most of them are ass. So when AMC keeps on killing all the good characters, why would I continue watching it? And that's really the crux of it. The games are better than the show because the show finds any reason to kill off a character and ruin their narrative. Don't get me wrong, there are dumb deaths in the Walking Dead games too, but it's not the default setting of the game. Whereas if somebody on the set of the show sneezes in the direction of an AMC executive, they get executed on the spot. In real life.
Fuck you, Larry. Eat up.
Telltale's The Walking Dead games are everything I want in a story game. It has action, drama, great storytelling, comedy, lots of comedy.
Wasn't for touching kids, was it?
And the coolest part about all of it is that it centers around the players doing the dialogue and making the choices. Sure, there's stuff that's set in stone and you can't change, which at times feels like a contradiction to the idea of a decision game, but overall, this is an amazing game series. I know that making decisions in a story game has been around for a while, with it being present in games like Fallout and Skyrim, but this is the first time I ever experienced a game where it wasn't a feature, but making decisions was the game itself. There is no funnier feeling than when you select a dialogue option and your character says way more than what he was supposed to.
Time for you to open your eyes. Kate's gonna leave your ass.
What?
Kate's gonna leave your ass. What?
Where the Walking Dead game and the show differ is that the game gives you all the tools to make an amazing story, and even in the sections out of your control, it doesn't ever ruin what's in front of you. Whereas the show, while it was really good in the beginning, just kept removing all the tools it had to make the show great, and for seemingly no reason. Let's give some examples. Shane tried to slime out his closest friend for a woman. Very relatable. Also, very good deaths. So why do we go from the high quality death of Shane to Beth's death not even that much later? That's low-key another part of this. It's bad enough that they're doing useless deaths, but I'd actually be more okay with it if they made sense. You're telling me Beth, who at the time of her death had not only been out on the road before, but had also been a really important part of the prison, you're telling me this person with this knowledge was about to be freed in a heavily armed standoff and decided to stab the crazy woman holding the gun? What? What was this even for? Carl got jumped by 2 walkers and suddenly his brain shuts down. He literally dealt with this exact situation when he was 11 and he was still eating pudding by the end of the episode. Everybody hates Chris. I don't even know why they did him like this. He wasn't even that important of a character. The game is just much better at telling a more organized story than the show. And because it's 400 seasons, they start running out of shit to focus on. Let's focus on Carl. Oh wait, he's dead. Let's have them get attacked by evil humans. Oh wait, we did that for 5 seasons straight? Okay, let's go back to basics and just focus on Rick. Oh, he's gone too? The simplicity of the Walking Dead games when compared to the show is so important because they don't run out of things to talk about. There's always a specific thing that's being focused on. Season 1, Lee being the GOAT. Season 2, Clem being the GOAT. Season 3, which was very honestly probably the worst out of all the Walking Dead games, but still more entertaining than the show's best season. And then Season 4, Clem being the GOAT again, and then passing that on to AJ. It's a very simple simple subject matter. Instead of struggling to find a subject to talk about like in the show, all the games follow the main character. They are the subject, and everything that happens is just external. And because of that, they have a way better, way more enjoyable story than the shows. Now granted, I have been shitting on the show the entire video so far, but that doesn't mean it's all bad. Obviously the show is done now, but speaking hypothetically, imagine if instead of every character dying every season, and then chucking a new cast of characters that even the show forgets about, imagine if they just, I don't know, stopped killing characters when it made no sense to? We've already talked about how to write a good death, so we don't need to go into that, but The Walking Dead is actually the GOAT of the useless character death. Not only do almost all the deaths not help the story, the vast majority of them do not make sense at all. When I watch a show, I just want to sit down and enjoy the story. And now because of the terrible practices of AMC, I gotta figure out how to get my ass in the writer's room to save this mid-ass show.
There are no rules, man. We're lost.
The Walking Dead was one of the most popular shows of the era it came out in. For a long time, if you mentioned zombies, you were mentioning The Walking Dead. That's how up they were. And the show had incredible moments, like Shane trying to kill his friend so he could smash his wife, reaching the farm, finding the prison, Andrea dying. Oh my god. I could do a whole video on how much I hate Andrea. Alright, I'm just gonna finish the video now. There's actually a lot of amazing moments within the show, but they really hurt their show by making it overly long and doing 5 billion spin-offs that nobody watches. The Walking Dead show lacked the focus and care that went into the Walking Dead games. In the Walking Dead games, nearly every death would hit me like a truck. But in the show, anyone dying, even the main characters, that was just another Tuesday. And it's because of that lack of care and that lack of focus that I truly believe
right around town, I'm fried. Right around with my food. We like Bonnie and Clyde. Watch each job I shoot. She grabbing the wheel and I